sung to before? Huh? Have you been sung to before?
No, not quite in that way. I don't think we could do that.
Has a guy
That
ever
would,
sung to you?
no, I don't think that would
No,
work.
I'm asking you a question. Has a guy ever
No,
sung to you?
no.
What do you mean? I don't think you'd be very receptive to it.
Have you ever sung to a woman?
Me? No, not directly.
Not directly.
Like a sense. Like yours, individually. No.
What have you done? Like sung
They've
off
heard
in
me
the...
sing.
Oh.
Pretty forgettable.
Look at that. I don't think we've ever had that many. Look at all those rows that have to be filled.
We should go have a coffee. Oh, so fast. So soon. He's not usually never singing.
Aren't those things supposed to be tuned like a factory? It's glowing though, right? I mean, how can you miss?
Well, thank you. I really appreciate it.
Yeah.
So, is there anything particular? I should
No.
just take it in for...
I don't think you need to take it in for anything.
Okay.
No.
But I should...
If you feel like it's getting louder, you know,
I'll call you.
yeah, and I'll listen to it. We'll figure out what's going on with it. But I suspect there might be
Something down the exhaust.
maybe.
Well, it's better than not a thing.
Oh boy. That would be
That's
nine
okay, though.
that would be 900 to $1,000.
Well, that's okay. It's worth it. I get such pleasure out of driving.
That's all that matters stuff.
Okay.
That you get pleasure out of it.
Yeah, and when I have a lot of money, I'll get it restored.
Ah, have a question, just call me.
What happens in the summer?
That's exactly 20 minutes.
I declare that the 498th Convocation of McMaster University for the conferring of degrees is now in session.
Please be seated. Good afternoon. I'm Eileen Bush-Vishniak, the Provost and Vice President Academic of the University. This afternoon, I have the great pleasure of acting as your Master of Ceremonies and of welcoming all of you to Convocation. Before we start our formal program, may I first ask everyone in the hall to switch off any electronic device that may ring or beep during the ceremony. Thank you. It is my pleasure now to call upon our Chancellor, Dr. Linton Wilson, to make his own welcoming remarks.
Thank you, Madam Provost. Mr. President, Vice Chancellor, Deans, Dean Wilkinson, Dean Kelton, Dean Crosta, Dean Capone, Honorary Graduand, members of the Platform Party, graduands, ladies and gentlemen, a very good afternoon to you all. A very warm welcome to this 498th Convocation of McMaster University. We have this afternoon an unusually large crowd. I'm glad to see so many friends and relatives in attendance. Unfortunately, some are in an overflow room, and I'd like to simply say a special welcome to those that aren't here physically in this auditorium, but are seated in an overflow room. To those graduating, you've reached an important milestone, an exciting milestone in your lives. Many of you will begin careers, embarking on new journeys. Some of you will be continuing your education, training, or preparation for more advanced or specialized activities. To the parents, grandparents, family members, spouses, and friends here today, you may bask in reflected glory and take pride in the accomplishments being recognized in this convocation. To our faculty and staff, today marks tangible recognition of your efforts, particularly the successes of your students evident in this ceremony. I wish you all an enjoyable afternoon. Thank you.
Now it is my pleasure to introduce Dr. Patrick Dean, President and Vice Chancellor, who will be presenting our honorary degree recipient.
Mr. Chancellor, by the authority of the Senate of McMaster University, I have the honor to present Thomas Robert Beamish. There we go, Bob. Thomas Robert, or Bob Beamish, is an innovator, an entrepreneur, and a philanthropist who has built an international legacy of business success and community engagement that includes McMaster University. Mr. Beamish graduated from Queen's University with a Bachelor of Science degree in Mechanical Engineering and began working as a process engineer in the paper industry shortly afterwards. It was not long, however, before he displayed the type of entrepreneurial and risk-taking spirit that would define his later career when he left that job to work with a startup company in New Jersey. He returned to Ontario to join Monsanto Canada as a technical service representative in the company's plastics division and remained with Monsanto for 14 years. Mr. Beamish worked both in Toronto and Montreal for the company and progressed steadily through positions in manufacturing, marketing, and management. He concluded his career with Monsanto Canada as the company's president. In 1978, Mr. Beamish partnered with McMaster alumnus Bob Fitzhenry to purchase Monsanto's Canadian-based polyurethane business, a single-location enterprise based in Woodbridge, Ontario. Initially, the two partners were focused on the production of slab foam products for the furniture industry, as well as molded foam products for the automotive industry. Their company began its existence as the Woodbridge Foam Corporation, but would eventually become the Woodbridge Group. Concentrating on innovations in process and products, Mr. Beamish guided the growth of the Woodbridge Group from that original plant to more than 60 facilities in 21 countries. It now produces and assembles many products, primarily for the automotive industry, and remains a private Canadian corporation. He has been involved in finding new materials that enable the move away from a dependency on petroleum-based technologies toward more sustainable substitutes, such as bio-based petrochemical replacements, composite lumber made from fly ash, and biodiesel. For more than a decade, Mr. Beamish and his family have used the WB Family Foundation to pursue a philanthropic mission that focuses primarily on medical research, mental health, healthcare, and education. One of the Foundation's projects is the Center for Spinal Cord Research and Rehabilitation, located in McMaster's Ivor Wynne Center. Mr. Beamish is also a member of the Association of Professional Engineers of Ontario and a long-time licensed pilot. Mr. Chancellor, Bob Beamish is a builder of businesses, of opportunities, and of communities. McMaster is proud to count him among our valued partners, and today it will be an honor to list him among our degree holders. I ask that you confer upon Mr. Beamish the degree Doctor of Laws, honoris causa.
Robert Beamish, by the authority of McMaster University Senate, I have the great pleasure to confer upon you the degree Doctor of Laws, honoris causa, in McMaster University with all the rights and privileges pertaining to that degree. Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Come and sign the book.
Where is it? There we go. Done.
Thank you.
I'll call on you, Bob.
Okay, good.
Let me now call on Dr. Beamish to deliver the convocation address. Dr. Beamish.
Chancellor Wilson, President Dean, Provost Wishniak, Dean Wilkinson, Dean Kelton, Dean Capone, graduates, and guests. Firstly, I'd like to extend my thanks and appreciation to the university for this very great honor. And congratulations to you graduates who are about to experience the dramatic change from being net consumers to net producers of knowledge, goods, and services. Looking back over the years since I was in effect sitting where you are, wondering what comes next, two overriding thoughts come to mind. The first is that change creates opportunities. The second is that the attitude and focus with which those opportunities are approached is extremely important if they are to be taken advantage of. An example of the vastly different rate of change from my generation to yours is the years it took us to move from the slide rule to the calculator, when compared to the days it now takes you to move from a cell phone to a multi-purpose device that claims to do it all. The increasing pace of change in a rapidly shrinking world provides you with unparalleled opportunities to use the skill sets and innovative approaches you have acquired in your time at McMaster, whether that be in the provision of goods, services, technology, or management. An example of the power of a positive attitude and focus when approaching those opportunities is the experience we had when founding the Woodbridge Foam Corporation. That was 33 years ago, but the lesson is as applicable today as it was then, because human nature has not changed nearly as much as its environment. The company we worked for at the time, Monsanto, had a plant in Canada in a business from which they wanted to withdraw. It was quite likely because it never made any money. My partner, Bob Fitzhenry, a McMaster alumni, and I arranged through Monsanto's good graces and lots of debt to purchase the plant and the business, which at that time employed 300 people, all of whom were used to working within the comfortable but cumbersome infrastructure of a global giant. So overnight, those 300 people became the Woodbridge Foam Corporation with no corporate history, very little infrastructure, and little financial support. Now, there were no personnel, market, or process changes, but in its first year as a standalone company, that plant was profitable, something that was certainly not the case when it was run by the same people within Monsanto. The transition to a successful business was clearly due to the change in attitude and focus of all the employees, from the hourly workers to the senior managers. All involved suddenly realized it was their business and needed all the creativity and innovation they could muster, implemented quickly without the bureaucracy inherent in the large corporation, in order to survive. I managed to lose my third page here, but the net of that was that, so here you had this company that was nowhere, all of a sudden making money and moving forward. So what we did was take that innovation, clearly it was the secret, take it worldwide and provide jobs now over the years for 8,000 people simply by addressing that basic technology and moving forward around the world. So the innovation is the key, and it is fun to see innovation succeed. So you have been given a great opportunity here to learn and exercise your innovative experiences in a good way. You are going to have a marvelous time. The opportunities are just extraordinary in a shrinking world, and very best of luck to you and continued success on your journeys. Thanks very much.
Well done, Bob. It's clear, Bob, that you didn't need that third page. Well done. Bob Beamish is a Canadian icon when it comes to entrepreneurial business activity. Woodbridge Group has been a great example of what can be done by Canadians worldwide, maintaining high standards and control over what they do. And Bob, we're delighted to have you here with us today as a an honorary graduate, and look forward to another 33 years of success in Woodbridge Group. All the best. Thank you very much.
It is my pleasure now to welcome Dr. Patrick Dean to the podium. He will present the graduands to our Chancellor for admission to their degrees.
Will the graduands please stand? Mr. Chancellor, on behalf of McMaster University Senate, I present to you these candidates in order that you may confer the appropriate degrees upon them, and I bear witness that they are worthy and suitable.
Graduands, by my authority and that of the McMaster University Senate, I have the great pleasure to admit you to your individual degrees in McMaster University with all of the rights and privileges pertaining to those degrees. My sincere congratulations to you all.
Please be seated. Mr. Chancellor, on behalf of McMaster University Senate, may I also request that you confer the appropriate degrees in absentia upon all those candidates who have successfully completed the required course of study but who are not present.
I declare all these degrees conferred in absentia.
Graduates, I now ask each of you to join me on the stage so that the Chancellor and I may welcome you into the McMaster community of scholars.
Ladies and gentlemen, it would be appreciated if during the presentation of the graduands you would hold your applause to the end of each degree category. Thank you. Mr. Chancellor, may I present to you the following graduates of the degree Doctor of Philosophy. Sarah Nicole Andres. Yu Sun Jung. Daniel Peter Garden. Maria Kondratiev. Tushar Shakaya. Patricia Lynn Taylor. Tracy Elizabeth Tiefenbach. Juan Carlos Marquez Hoyos. Branislava Milukinovic. Magdalena Maria Shevchek. Sarah Alabik. Sukdeep Sinj Dadwar. Amelia Awaha. Carl Jobst. Yuli Liu. Annika Siu Louis. Farshid Ramanazapur. Mohammad Areza Moslami. Zhenghua Ni. Kelsey Lee Iris Norland. Michael Hugh Kinsner. Mohammed Walid Shinwari. Edgar Onte Seron. Dylan F. Logan. Daniel William Harrington. John Charles McLaughlin. Ragini Agarwal. Daryl Bainbridge. Angela Barbara. Q Kui. Catherine Kritsoulas. Kalpana Maria Nair. Christian Thorland. Rebecca Lee Bassett. Michael Wallace Robert Holmes. Andrea Rachel Joss. Brian McKay. Adil Safdar. George Catalin Dragomir. Xiaoyi Fu. Olga Krylova. William Donald Volterman. Stephen Andrew Gadsden. Kevin William McLaren. Walid Mustafa Mohammed El Sabag. Michael Douglas Gow. Catherine Arias. Danny Bernard. Jeanette Elaine Boudreau. Ran behind, I goofed. Matthew Paul Kraus. Amber Park. Imtiaz Samju. Laura Lois Sweetston. Aaron William Young. Yong Fang Zhu. Allison L. Fenney. Sandra May Isaacs. Kiana Setudinhia. George Sui Wei Chan. Julie Rebecca Marintet. Christopher Jason Teeter. Christina Taylor. Ni Fan. Heather Calhoun. Allison Mary Douglas. Nora Fayed. Carrie Hand. Katarzyna Kowalska. Mr. Chancellor, may I present to you the following graduates of the degree Master of Arts. Francesca Cardwell. Bonnie Chow. Tufail Ahmed Chowdhury. Mid Mani Ramazan. Catherine Emily Whalen.
Mr. Chancellor, may I present to you the following graduates of the degree Master of Science. Thomas Gverdis. Navpreet Rana. Anthony Shimkov. Salma Trebelsi. Jessica Wong. Ryan Belowitz. Haranad Maganti. Tanya Fariana Mahmood. Sharmila Sathiathi. Amanda Janine Wilson. Catherine Amoteng. Aditya Ravichandran. Isan Mohammed Kazimi. Xiaofei Tian. Andrew Neil Brennan. Stephen Patrick Holland. Emily Nicholas. Stacy Puckering. Jessica Slomka. Natalie Spina. Rizwan Balu. Huali Kai. Ursuline Irma Fevrier Thomas. Ellen Maria Roski. Marcel Sarah Julia. Donica Lynn Walden. Michael James Wilson. Shiva Adele. Ji Hun Choi. Jeffrey Dickert. Robin Enns. Mandark Gandhi. Renee Gordon. Francine Rachel Irakoze. Mary Nicole Eason. Alisha Kaba. Rohan Kehar. Anita Marquez. Farim Morale. Rosemary Odum. Eustace Orleans Lindsay. Catherine Paquin. Abby Ravindran. Ruth Rodney. Anna Romanova. Bari Shea Kirstenbaum Rose. Sherry Sandhu. Zara Sohani. Andrew Meikle. Jatin Patel. Leah Sophie Shuparsky. Christopher Tome. Kanakadurga Fanasri Timaraju. Umo'o Kulthum Abu Baka Al-Mawi. Shoaib Umaladi. Natasha Burke. Carmen Daniela Carmazon. Mohammed El Rabani. Imai Amy Fan. Joanna Jerasi. Juan Camilo Guzman Orduz. Margaret Jin. Rupinder Kalati. Jason Lamb. Side Mather. Dominic Mertz. Pavel Roshanov. Lisa Kathleen Striffler. Christina Vukovic. Lee Gable. Jeffrey Dean Graham. Nicholas Joseph Ladelfa. Audra Allison Martin. Justin Adam Warish. Michael Peter Archimowicz. Xiaohe Peng. Robert James Pupo. Juan Ignacio Sinestera. Michael Gregory Ronald Bayart. Josh Collins. Amanda Lori Ann Geisler. Brianna Hill. Josip Marchenko. Katerina Marchenko. Jessica M. McLennan. Devangi Mehta. Melody Blessing Ng. Sarah Sakima. Avrin Sukumur. Kaylee Veerman. Kimberly Volterman. Ilana Karen Bodgman. Arlene Greer McDougall. Aaron O'Farrell. Enakshi Singh. Lilia Sharnaya. Gregory Ross Cressman. Jerry Ann Dunn. Dorota Elzbieta Gutskowski. Julie Mary Junkin. Janet Elizabeth Lovegrove. Monica Massey. Catherine Elizabeth Millier Simpkins. Gladys Kamunto Moikaya. Marianne Paul. Rebecca Spark. Lauren Thompson. Melissa Whitson. Maggie Claire Zaman. Mikhail Klassen. Nick Miladnovich. Maximilian Ronald Philip Sherm. Kazimierz Zluiwa. Rachel Louise Ward. Evan Alfred Harvey. Mohini Naresh Patel. Mariam Matmayan Dedyar. Allison Mary Bonnyman. Gabriela Burgos Martinez. Deborah Kennedy. Anastasia Nadine Lynn Newman. Tara Lisa Packham. Seong Wan Lee. Daniel Gerald Ramuno. Wai-Ping Tang. Jianyi Zhu. Zhao Diang.
Mr. Chancellor, may I present to you the following graduates of the degree Master of Applied Science. Fayez Haydari Kabas. Mohammed Hamid Musadaya. Farouk Saeed. Jenny Myra Gusiela Zoc Torres. Vincent Leung. Emily Jean Nichols. Heather Lynn Perry. Shadi Syed Rezai. Kazra Azadra. Mohammed Sadegh Dadrash. Ting Liu. Stanley Wei Kwong Eng. Gi Tan. Lisha Wang. Li Zhang. Hao Han Zhu. Sari Al-Turk. Madhuri Chatharuju. Wiwen Jia. Hao Liu. Sean Crawford. Hua Jing Song. Ryan Joseph Paul Babel. Hong Han Deng. Mr. Chancellor, may I present to you the following graduates of the degree Master of Engineering. Sheeny Jerry. Jose Cherian Kuyate. Carolina Daza Ortiz. Daniel Robert Kenny. Evan McNabb. Rohinton Richard. Robert Tisma. David Bauslog. Inden Rongchi. Philakshan Kanisalangmam. Daniel Richard Kish. Haley McLaren. Jennifer J. Stoneberg. Kirsten Zernask Sabak. Hussein Ali Ghalib Al-Bassam. Abuzafar Mohammed Ali. Christian Gordon. Pamela Beverly McDermott. Eshawn Roy. David Garland Watts. Sahar Arabi. Saba Mohatashami. Ali Kalatpur.
Mr. Chancellor, may I present to you the following graduates of the degree Master of Science, Occupational Therapy. Heather Elizabeth Bailey. Kelly Eileen Bashak. Danielle Booth. Melissa Dawn Brinkman. Stephen Bruchette. Arwen Nicole Keynes. Patrina Ann Calder. Lena Hart. Carolyn Chuang. Nikita Carolyn D'Souza. Jana Nicole Daziger. Jennifer Davis. Michelle DeVoe. Tara Ombre. Nimra Faruqi. Shelby Kathleen Fawcett. Allison Gaunt. Lauren Elizabeth Gino. Dana Perry Greenspoon. Sarah Nicole Gruzetsky. Jillian Danielle Hanna. Jocelyn Hawkins. Laura Hayos. Michelle Helen Heaney. Natasha Hruska. Kimberly Herda. Justine Catherine Huzinski. Jennifer Ann Hines. Ashley Jones. Shayla Kara. Louis. Nadine Heather Lozon. Jana Michelle Maish. Sharon Hingyin Mann. Vanessa Anastasia Matthias. Alexis Michelle McKechnie. Amanda Louise Marasuti. Jade Christine North. Leona Emma Pereira. Jamie Lauren Posavad. Ashley Robbins. Cheryl May Robinson. Julia Karen Rowe. Mandy Nicole Rubinoff. Cynthia Simone Rutters. Emily Saltmarsh. Natalie Sanborn. Mary Alexandra Thurgood. Alexander Richard John Titus. Caitlin Vanderswet. Carolyn Joan Wolfgram. Mr. Chancellor, may I present to you the following graduates of the degree Master of Science, Physiotherapy. Busaina Amaji. Luke Andrew Keith Binnington. Sasha Miriam Boulay. Christina Shiloh Folsom. Stephanie Elaine Collins. Laura Elizabeth Cremasco. Graham Alexander Dalseg. Kathleen Lisa Donahue. Michael Oliver Finlay. Jessica Elizabeth Gillespie. Rochelle Catherine Huvenars. Lara Takeo Kalnins Janitans. Lindsay Noel Jarvis. Jacqueline Judah. Nikita Komarov. Donald Kevin Lazar. Matthew Charles Andrew Linz. Allison McGregor. Julian Manzo. Connor Michael Massimo. Valerie Anne-Marie Meze. Jocelyn McEachern. Robert Stedman McLaren. Melissa Carol Marilanen. Kyla Michael. Sarah Margaret Miller. Carrie Elizabeth Nagy. Amar Nagandi. Cassandra Nemko. Kaylin L. O'Meara. Alakunle Olabande. Kinjal Shadrakant Patel. Caitlin Emily Janet Pauls. Crystal Lynn Robertson. Rebecca Jane Schuler. Jason Tyler Smith. Catherine Snowden. Aaron Noel Stewart. Heather Sullivan. Barbara Lee Tatum. Jessica Jane Temetsi. Adrian Thompson. Lisa Marie Vandenberg. Vanessa Veronica Vega. Brandon Dale Ward. Melissa Tin Yan Wong. Nicole Lynn Wooden. Jennifer Ziegman. Erica Mary Elizabeth Zeman. Jamie Suzanne Zurich.
Mr. Chancellor, may I present to you the following graduates of the degree Master of Engineering, Entrepreneurship, and Innovation. Salam Musa Al-Jazar. Ahmed Abdulaziz Al-Sayed. Siraj Khalid Zarin. Mr. Chancellor, may I present to you the following graduates of the degree Master of Engineering in Public Policy. Mohammed Abu El-Fish. Mark Louis Momor Adamali. Omar Muhi Din Oal-Dabik. Ralph Hans Kruger. Charles C. Searle. Mr. Chancellor, may I present to you the following graduates of the degree Master of Engineering Design. Khalid Abu Nasif. Ala Abu Salhiya. Vijay Acharya. Emma Naomi Afuso Suyosi. Tiffany Jane D'Souza. David Daywood. Manyang Michael Dang. Dina Kamal Fazi Dos. Tyson Hamilton. Peter Hanna. Humad Ijaz. Hui Jin. Joby John George. Munir Kabara. Alan Keene. Risham Singh Kareya. Manmeet Singh Kandpur. Michael Joseph Kish. Manuel Elias Ledzima. Lizhee Lee. Michael Yuan Liu. Saeed Malakal. Jennifer Ann McKenna. Luis Armando Michelangeli. Khaled Mobayed. George Patrick Montgolabary. Saravanan Rajmaknam. Yottanam Didier Rueda. Puyon Safapur. Catherine Standish. Cheng Wong. Harris bin Zafar.
Mr. Chancellor, may I present to you the following graduates of the degree Bachelor of Science Honors. Akram Alas. Peter Oluwasitian Bamikoli. Anu Radu Baggat. Michelle Blake. Andrew William Bourne. Emily DeRoche. Tonya Diorio. Haley Fairclough. Michael Gallant. Rosalie Garofalo. Aisha Gorea. Roman Gregorchuk. Nala Hafid. Oscar Eli Hernandez. Leland Harrington. Wei Liang Huang. Darsha Chigathi Swaran. Nabiha Kabir. Carl Kari Shayan. Krista Joyce Lamke. Safi Lone. Gada Madil. Miriam Mansour. Daniela Margani. Zoya Moatar. Robert Paradis. Jinming Elsie Park. Kobe Christian Philippe Joseph. Daniel Water Ripley. Amita Risbud. Samantha Sharp. Fiona Tisavira Singham. Trukvan Na Tran. Vutharaha Vaniya Singham. Adrian Werkowski. Mr. Chancellor, may I present to you the following graduates of the degree Bachelor of Science, Kinesiology. Elizabeth Louise Maffett. Carrie Peterson.
Mr. Chancellor, may I present to you the following graduates of the degree Bachelor of Science in Nursing. Stephanie Ann Kalem. Zhao Yan. Sarah Rose DeGuyer. Tamika Egerton. Kimberly Espiritu. Nella Maria Catherine Finsel. Terry Hume. Jody Lynn Keeling. Michael Marco Kucharski. Crisel May Lumawang. Brittany Katharina Lillian Lynn. Diana Quintero. Lindsay Michelle Reed. Miriam Lita Sawari. Leanne Stevenson. Amanda Thompson. Hazel Villabrosa. Sarah White.
Mr. Chancellor, may I present to you the following graduates of the degree Bachelor of Engineering and Management. Paul Kianov. Alakan Ramazan Premji. Mr. Chancellor, may I present to you the following graduates of the degree Bachelor of Engineering and Society. Michael Vincent Sino. Vinay Patel. Robin Yee. Mr. Chancellor, may I present to you the following graduates of the degree Bachelor of Engineering and Biosciences. Jameson Rollings. Mr. Chancellor, may I present to you the following graduates of the degree Bachelor of Engineering. Syed Hani Abidi. Anmal Singh Anand. Jesse Allen Robert Bona. Mohammed Mahmoudul Islam. Daniel Jones. Rahi Kalantari. Mohammed Anas Kardar. Mohammed Asim Khan. David Brian Kwok Ting Lung. Andrew Lutz. Brian Patrick Pambianco. Faisal Premji. Kareem Antoine Sabri. Minna Sinuda. Jason Stewart. Peter Suk. John Thomas. Mohammed Sharik Wani. Mr. Chancellor, may I present to you the following graduates of the degree Bachelor of Technology. Afshin Azada. Caitlin Cook. Michael Driscoll. Jeremy Dyer. Crystal Ford. Joel Gregarious. Matthew Houston. Daniel Ibrahim. Joseph Kamensky. Manpreet Kangura. Armando Myrina. Donald Mastrangelo. Matt Matthew. Ryan McLeod. Hai Thai Trin. Brent Michael Webenga.
Mr. Chancellor, may I present to you the following graduates of the degree Bachelor of Science. Andras Ade Kalam. Philip George Arbeau. Tanya Alexandra Balakchak. Joanne B-Ann. Rayshay Bahat. Aaron Bland. Maha Rafat Chaudhry. Raymond Yen Zhu Chow. Rebecca Fong. Stephen Zealous Francis. Jane Lack. Benson Ka-Shu Lam. Shannon Lee Ann Limoges. Jailan Lin. Ryan He Mai. Tom Matthew. Jonathan Oosterhoff. Julian Philippe Riano. Elena Marie Smirk. Sanjeet Sohal. Kelvin Wong.
Mr. Chancellor, may I present to you the following graduates of the degree Bachelor of Health Sciences. Ahmad Al-Khatib, Jaitan Badawala, Karen Bami, Justin John Bell, Matthew Chong, Rennie Chu, Patwant Dillon, Fadi Elias, Jessica Graham, Alexander Thomas Adler Gregor, Ritesh Gupta, Stephanie Jane Herman, Kevin Su, Anne Biyi Hu, Faiza Ilyas, Lisa G. Jagan, Tahir Syed Kafil, Faiza Kokar, Natasha Larocque, Ryan Hyung-K Lee, Alexander Leung, Philemon Ho-Yan Leung, Nicole Catherine Pinto, Katerina Pizzuto, Eve Purdy, Khaled Ramadan, James C. Rassos, Zara Tejani, Conrad Sang, Bingzi Alice Wang, Michael K. Wang, Arthur Wong, Yue Wu, Josie Shu, Alan Yan, Yellen Yang, Lauren Jennifer Zonette, Rojan Zhang, Lady Zhou, Lily Winya Zhou,
Mr. Chancellor, may I present to you the following graduates of the degree Bachelor of Health Sciences, Physician Assistant. Brian Backus, Karen Bilecki, Lindy Buzakiewicz, Dawn Campbell, Anne Dang, Melissa DeClos, Catherine Elaine Duffin, Jan Greslow, Jordan Vizd, Vincent Elliott Lacharité, Christian Leboutillier, Laura McPherson, Dottie Mackay, Alicia Noble, Andrea Josephine Pansoy, Gabrielle Papineau, Danielle Peary, Sylvia Profetto, Suzanne Sholey, Rachel Scheckman, Kristen Sullivan, Melinda Young,
Mr. Chancellor, may I present to you the following graduates of the Graduate Diploma in Health Services and Policy Research. Jerry Ann Dunn. Joanna Gerasi. Mr. Chancellor, may I present to you the following graduates of the Graduate Diploma in Ontario Primary Health Care Nurse Practitioner. Natalie Gibson. Sarah Elizabeth Newton.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is my pleasure now to introduce you to Dr. Neve Fan, a PhD graduate of the Radiation Biology program who will be delivering the valedictory address.
Good afternoon, Mr. Chancellor, President Dean, distinguished faculty, parents, friends, and fellow graduates. Congratulations. Today is our day, a day in which we've earned the right to celebrate our achievements and reflect on the hard work and sacrifices that were made to reach this moment. As the world's population soared through the 7 billion mark earlier this month, we should be reminded that we are a select few, fortunate to have been given the opportunity to pursue higher education. We, the graduating class of 2011, come from diverse backgrounds, culturally, academically, and in relations to our personal interests. However, it is our dedication towards excellence in learning and discovery that has brought us here today in this hall that so many distinguished McMaster alumni have stood before. I came to McMaster University for the very first time when I was 7 years old, as an aspiring pianist competing in the Hamilton Kiwanis Music Festival. At that time, I read music better than I was able to read English. Having moved to Canada from a refugee camp 1 year earlier, I had no understanding of what a university was. As years went by, I found myself visiting McMaster more frequently, once for a science fair, a couple of times for track and field meets, and a handful of times for summer camp and music competitions. My notion of McMaster University was a place where, if you were good enough at what you did, you received the privilege of visiting. A place where you could go to showcase your talents and further your learning. Although I now have a much better understanding of what a university is, in a way, my preconceived idea of McMaster University still holds true. It is a place where those who are good at what they do go to shine and refine their skills. Fellow graduates, we are here today because McMaster University recognized our talents and abilities, and in turn, we accepted its offer to foster learning and ignite our passion and curiosity. In our future careers as engineers, researchers, consultants, healthcare professionals, and every other inspirational vocation we've dreamed of, we have much to contribute to society. But we must remember that this privilege to contribute to society does not go without responsibility. World events in the past year have shown us that through collective action, each person can make a difference. Technological advancements and use of social media are ways individuals like you and I are changing the world. Now, I'm not saying spend more time on Facebook. As you know, some of us logged more hours on Facebook than we should have. But what I'm saying is take cues from the world around us and see how we can take the lessons learned and the skills refined here at McMaster to make this world a little better. I understand that for some of us, our time at McMaster is a stepping stone towards further education. And for others, it's a final step before entry into the real world. Whatever the case may be for you, William Butler Yeats once said, "Education is not the filling of a pail, but the lighting of a fire." McMaster University, through its professors, teaching assistants, departments, facilities, has fostered a remarkable learning experience for me. I know that I'm not alone in this regard. Although each of us graduates has had unique experiences at McMaster, I believe the lessons learned and memories we've made will be cherished by all. So, today is our day, a day to celebrate our successes and accomplishments. But we are not only a product of our ambitions and aptitudes, and as such, today is also a day to reflect on and thank those who have encouraged and supported us along the way. Being the first in my family to attend university, the pursuit of a PhD degree once seemed incomprehensible. My mother often reminds me of how fortunate we are to have come to Canada, where education is regarded more as a right than a privilege. She tells me she would endure the hardship of fleeing Vietnam 10 times over just to witness the opportunities I've been given. Our family, friends, and community have contributed a lot towards shaping who we are today. Although we can try to understand the sacrifice they've made for us, I'm not sure if we'll truly ever know them. Fellow graduates, it is with great honor and privilege for me to share this moment with each of you. We may only be a few in this world of 7 billion people, but I'm certain that the fire McMaster lit for each of us will continue to ignite our passion and curiosity and help us make this world a brighter place. Congratulations.
A special thank you to Dr. Fahn for what were truly inspiring words, and a congratulations to all of the graduates in the room. The talent in this room and the individual paths you've taken are diverse, but they are all leading you here to the convocation ceremony at McMaster. It is my pleasure now to call upon our Associate Dean of Graduate Studies, Dr. Doug Welsh, who will present the Governor General's Academic Medal.
Mr. Chancellor, Adil Safdar is this year's recipient of the Governor General's Academic Medal. This medal is awarded annually to the graduate student with the highest academic standing during this academic year. I ask that you and all those present join with me to express our recognition of his achievement.
Thank you, Vanessa. Congratulations to you. You must be a great scholar.
Thank you very much.
And good luck in your future. All the best to you.
And now I call upon our Dean of Science, Dr. John Capone, who will present the Chancellor's Gold Medal.
Mr. Chancellor, as a representative of these scholars, I wish to present this year's recipient of the Chancellor's Gold Medal. This medal is awarded annually to the undergraduate student in his or her final year who ranks highest in scholarship, leadership, and influence. Alexandra Tarana is this year's winner of the Chancellor's Gold Medal. She will now come forward to receive her medal at your hands.
Congratulations, Alexander. What are you going to do next?
More skate.
Good for you. Congratulations.
I call now upon our President, Dr. Patrick Dean, who will present the University Distinguished Professor.
From time to time, the Senate of McMaster University awards the title of Distinguished University Professor to exceptional individuals whose contributions in research, scholarship, and education are truly outstanding. Only full-time members of the faculty are eligible for this honor, and there can be no more than 8 active distinguished university professors at any time. Mr. Chancellor, on behalf of the Senate of McMaster University, I have the honor to present McMaster's newest distinguished university professor, Dr. Gordon Guyatt. In 1990, Dr. Guyatt coined the term evidence-based medicine, EBM, and contributed significantly to the development and popularization of EBM, an innovation that the prestigious British Medical Journal hailed as one of the 15 greatest breakthroughs of contemporary medicine. Dr. Guyatt has been a leading proponent of evidence-based approaches to clinical decision-making and has thus made powerful contributions in clinical research, while also training hundreds of clinicians, educators, and scientists who are influenced by evidence-based thinking. He led the production of the User's Guides to the Medical Literature, which laid the groundwork for subsequent EBM writing. He has published more than 750 peer-reviewed articles that have been cited more than 50,000 times. More than 115 of his articles have appeared in the 5 most prestigious general medical journals. Dr. Guyatt's broader work includes assuming leading roles in more than 24 randomized trials and producing seminal work in the methodology underlying randomized trials, systematic reviews, health status measurement, and clinical practice guidelines. He has also been a passionate advocate for high-quality universal health care for Canadians, and his work on that issue has included at least 100 publications in the lay press related to health policy. Dr. Guyatt, who is a Fellow of the Royal College of Physicians and Surgeons of Canada, was also shortlisted as one of 10 candidates for the British Medical Journal's Lifetime Achievement Award. Congratulations, Dr. Guyatt.
Graduates, you now share a title. You are alumni of McMaster University. I call upon Mr. David Adames, a representative of the Alumni Association, who will present the Distinguished Alumni Awards for Sciences and give the alumni address.
Thank you so much, Madam Provost. The recipient of the 2011 McMaster University Distinguished Alumni Award for the Sciences is Dr. Mark Tarnopolsky. Dr. Mark Tarnopolsky's groundbreaking research and clinical work in neuromuscular and neurometabolic disorders has earned him respect and accolades on an international scale. But most importantly, he has improved the lives of children and adults suffering from a wide array of chronic illnesses. A three-time McMaster University graduate, Dr. Tarnopolsky completed his Bachelor of Physical Education in 1985, his medical degree in 1988, and a PhD focusing on cell biology and metabolism in 1991. Following a residency period that saw him train in internal medicine, neurology, and physical medicine and rehabilitation, he joined the McMaster faculty as an assistant professor in medicine and kinesiology in 1996. He is now the clinical and research director of the Corkins-Lammert Family Neuromuscular and Neurometabolic Clinic at McMaster, the first holder of the McMaster Children's Hospital Hamilton Health Sciences Foundation Chair in Neuromuscular Diseases, and a professor of neurology, pediatrics, and medicine, as well as a division head of neuromuscular and neurometabolic disorders in the Department of Pediatrics. Dr. Tarnopolsky is the only physician in Canada to focus the majority of his practice on mitochondrial diseases, an area where he has developed innovative treatments and approaches to neuromuscular disease and aging. His work, which is also unique in its involvement of both children and adults, strives to find cures for chronic diseases like muscular dystrophy and Lou Gehrig's disease, but also to provide the best treatment possible in the absence of a cure. His lab regularly publishes more than 25 scholarly papers annually and is also involved in clinical trials. Dr. Tarnopolsky has received the Premier's Award of Excellence and the Dr. David Green Award as the top clinician scientist in Canada, an award given by the Muscular Dystrophy Association. Interestingly, Dr. Tarnopolsky's scholarly work on exercise is not merely an academic pursuit. He has competed internationally in adventure racing, winter triathlon, and ski orienteering. He has also won 3 consecutive Ontario Trail Running Series. McMaster is proud to recognize Dr. Mark Tarnopolsky as of the classes of 85, 88, and 91 with the 2011 Distinguished Alumni Award for the Sciences. We have a second award as well today. The 2011 McMaster University Distinguished Alumni Award for the Sciences also goes to Dr. Gary Schrobilgin. After earning his undergraduate degree in his native Iowa, Dr. Gary Schrobilgin came to Canada and Brock University for his Master of Science degree and then graduated from McMaster University with his PhD in inorganic chemistry in 1974 under the supervision of Professor Ron Gillespie. Following a postdoctoral fellowship in England, he joined McMaster's chemistry department, where, in 1988, he became a full professor of inorganic chemistry. Dr. Schrobilgin's research is focused on fundamental studies of highly reactive chemical species involving fluorine derivatives of the noble gases and polyatomic anions of main group elements. He is perhaps best known for his detailed work involving the synthesis and structural characterizations of a large percentage of the known compounds of krypton and xenon, as well as fluoro and oxofluoral derivatives of main group elements and transition metals in their highest oxidation states. His work has had applications in nuclear power generation, photovoltaic and semiconductor materials, refrigerants, advanced rocket propellants, and microelectronics. In addition to leadership and research, Dr. Schrobilgan is an accomplished mentor, having won the McMaster University's President's Award for Excellence in Graduate Supervision. Dr. Schrobilgan has dedicated himself not just to research and teaching, but to advancing his profession as well. He has served on the Executive Committee of the Division of Fluorine Chemistry of the American Chemical Society, holding the chairmanship of the division in 2005. Dr. Schrobilgan has also collected many of the most prestigious awards in his field. A Fellow of the Royal Society of Canada, he has received the American Chemical Society Award for creative work in fluorine chemistry, the Alcan Lecture Award, the International Award for Pure or Applied Chemistry, the EWR Stacey Award in Chemistry, a Humboldt Research Award from the Alexander von Humboldt Foundation, and the Canada Council Killam Research Fellowship. McMaster is pleased to present the 2011 Distinguished Alumni Award for the Sciences to Dr. Gary Schrobilgan. Thank you. Chancellor Wilson, President Dean, McMaster faculty, fellow alumni, honored guests, and members of the McMaster class of 2001. As the past president of the McMaster Alumni Association, I have the privilege today of representing the McMaster alumni family, a family that has grown in number here this afternoon. The 152,000 members of the McMaster Alumni Association living in 140 countries are an unconventional family. Now, we don't expect invitations to your birthday, and we won't ask you to help us move furniture. Instead, we are united by common experiences and shared McMaster pride. We are proud when Troy Hill, class of 2007, is recognized with the first McMaster Alumni Hamilton Community Impact Award, when Ivan Reitman, class of 69, is nominated for Best Picture Oscar, or when Julie Angus, class of 97, becomes the first woman to row across the Atlantic Ocean. And most importantly, your fellow alumni take pride in you. In 2009, your Alumni Association surveyed MAC grads and found that pride in McMaster and our fellow alumni is exceptionally high. I encourage you to exercise that pride by staying connected. As a result of that survey, we developed a strategic plan, introduced new programming, increased the number of events outside the Hamilton area, and expanded our use of social media and technology to keep alumni connected. Watch for the Alumni Magazine, the McMaster Times, in your mailbox. Follow the association on email, Twitter, Facebook, or YouTube. You can join us at one of hundreds of alumni events we organize annually from Hamilton to Hong Kong. Because we are all grads just like you, we also know that you put a lot into your McMaster student experience. You paid the fees, put in the library hours, worked the part-time jobs, and gave the volunteer time. And because you did all that, the McMaster Alumni Association tries to do just a little for you. In fact, you may not be aware that the Alumni Association has already been working on your behalf with donations to the McMaster University Student Center, the David Braley Athletic Center, Alumni Field, as well as bursaries and scholarships. We hope that we helped you create the best possible student experience for you and future students at McMaster. Through the association, you'll have access to value-added services like home, auto, and life insurance. We'll provide you with access to the McMaster libraries, the University Club, and perhaps, quite importantly right now, career services. We'll even help you preserve your convocation memories with our photography program. In 5 or 50 years, we'll help you reconnect with a long-lost friend, and we'll help you stay in touch with your home department or extracurricular group. And long before you become nostalgic for the good old days, we'll help you kickstart your career with our young alumni activities and networking events, or introduce you to our alumni career coach. There is a place for all of you in the McMaster Alumni Association. You may be an occasional event participant or a leadership volunteer. But as you take your McMaster experiences into the years and decades ahead, remember that you're all ambassadors and advocates for McMaster University. Your achievements are the best advertisement for the value of a McMaster degree. Today, we celebrate your success as students and toast the promise of your bright futures as alumni. Your fellow Mac grads are proud of you already. We offer you our most sincere congratulations and a warm welcome to the McMaster alumni family. Congratulations and celebrate this weekend.
It is my pleasure now to invite Dr. Dean back to the podium to deliver the President's address.
It is always invigorating and a privilege to talk to students about themselves, their work, their approach to the world, and their prospects for the future. And never more so than at graduation, when the President has the rare opportunity to have something like the last word. And it is the last word in a conversation that in one way or another has been going on since each of you first entered your degree program. And I should note that some of you here today are the first graduates from brand new programs at McMaster. At this afternoon ceremony and this morning's, we've had the first graduates from the master's programs in gender studies and feminist research and in global health, for example. Amongst you is the first student to complete the Water Without Borders program, an initiative of the United Nations University. And also the first PhD graduate from the new field of radiation sciences, radiation biology. So today we celebrate the individual achievements of all of you, as well as the irrepressible vitality of the Academy as it continues to open up new fields for research and study. And as we think about that, I'd like to take a moment to remember Dr. Fraser Mustard, who passed away this week, the founding dean of our medical school and a huge force for innovation and change in education and healthcare in this country. Almost everyone in this auditorium has, at one time or another, been part of the sort of conversation that begins this way. Where were you when, and some event is filled in. Where were you when the Twin Towers fell 10 years ago on September the 11th, 2001, for example? I know where I was on that occasion. I was sitting in my office at the University of Winnipeg on the telephone to someone at the university's bank who suddenly interrupted her long and complicated description of why some problem had occurred and said, "My God, something is happening in New York City. A plane has crashed into the World Trade Center." I hung up, found a television already surrounded by numbers of dumbfounded students, and saw what had happened. In the hour that followed, we watched first the South Tower fall and then the North Tower. The experience was utterly unforgettable, and I recall how profoundly close I felt to the students that day. Although separated from them in age by nearly 30 years, and like each of them having been brought to that place and that moment by a unique history of decisions and coincidences, I felt one with them in deep confusion, apprehension, and an inescapable sense of vulnerability. Our celebratory mood today contrasts with that somber morning a decade ago. For each of you, this ceremony signals a life shift, the conclusion of one phase and the beginning of another. And these proceedings, a calling together of the university community, bind you to each other and to McMaster for the rest of your lives. When by chance or destiny you meet up with one another in the future, you will all answer in identical ways the question, what were you doing on November the 18th, 2011? That was graduation day, you'll say. But what else might you say? To help think about how you might answer that question in the future, let me ask it in another inverted way. What was the world doing on your graduation day, November the 18th, 2011? Will you be able to answer the question? Did you this morning take note of the news? Reflect upon the world into which you will carry your new degree and in which you seek to be successful? And did you pause to think about what your success ought to look like, shaped by our specific historical coordinates in the prevailing, shifting global equilibrium of human happiness and suffering, poverty and wealth, altruism and greed, hatred and love? If you did not do so, I invite you to think about it now. Because just as the ceremony binds you to one another and to the university, it more importantly binds you to the world and to your responsibilities in that world. Today it is true, we can be grateful that there is no headline commanding single atrocity before us, as there was on September the 11th, 2001. The world is, however, no less atrocious a place, though for reasons partly having to do with the way in which world events are mediated to us, that fact is not normally allowed to claim our attention. There are principally two stories being told by the media about this current moment in history. Both are parables of a sort, and they are complementary to each other. The one is optimistic and reassuring, though with hints of darker possibilities, and the other is fatalistic and frightening, but with a promise of redemption. It's a kind of narratological yin and yang. The first of these stories is that of the so-called Arab Spring, which purports to teach us that despots cannot prevail indefinitely, and that sooner or later people will rise up and unseat them. Apparently equally inevitable is the development which follows, and this is the souring of the revolutionary spirit, as those who have taken power reveal themselves disturbingly similar to those they have displaced. Recent events in Libya, for example, have been relayed to us according to this paradigm. The humiliation and alleged summary execution of Muammar Gaddafi, raising questions about the fitness to rule of the very people credited with liberating the country from his despotism. As I said, the story is optimistic, but with a dark aftertaste. And it is calculated to titillate us in two ways. One, by playing to our sentimental belief in the inevitability, indeed the irrepressibility of our democratic urges. And two, by reinforcing our suspicion that our human natures are too fallible and violent for democratic society. Now, the other parable in which we are caught up is economic. The concept of sovereign debt was, until 6 months ago, obscure to most people. Now, every day, we not only ponder the prospect of whole nations defaulting on their loans, we're even getting used to the idea that nations may follow one another into bankruptcy in a kind of Greek autumn. I recently heard a commentator on the CBC rattle off the way in which the economic dominoes might fall. First Greece, then Spain, then Italy, and if Italy, then France, and then even, and he offered this with a sort of pro forma hesitation, Great Britain. It would seem that in contrast to 2001, when humanity was urged to ponder the singularity and exceptionality of tragic phenomena, in 2011 we must contemplate chain reactions of democratic fervor in the case of the Arab Spring, of financial collapse in the case of the Greek autumn. I observed that the depressing narrative of the European financial collapse, as it is told by the media, often seems to contain a promise of redemption. And in that last word, the suggestion of moral or religious consolation is intentional. For the first time, the hard-working, debt-ridden person in the street is being allowed, indeed invited, to see that sovereign finance is in reality no different from his or her household finance. What was formerly the curse and particular destiny of the oppressed consumer now turns out to be an immutable law applicable to all participants in commerce, whether they are individuals or nation states. If you live beyond your means for an extended period, disaster must follow. Of particular interest, though, is the way in which commentators on the international crisis are less horrified by what it may portend, ghastly levels of unemployment and economic deprivation in what were formerly nations of substance and sophistication, than they are interested in the way in which financial apocalypse may provide an opportunity for the absolution of past mistakes and education about the risks of unrestrained borrowing and spending. The oddly consoling point seems to be that at one level or another, we, in quotation marks, have deserved this, whoever we are. The language points towards a need for atonement. It is worth noting here that to contest who we are, and therefore who must atone for the world's economic woes, has been at the heart of the Occupy movement. Are we the 1% or the 99%? The answer matters, and it matters to think about it today. Now, certainly we're all in history together, and my point in drawing your attention to these two narratives about the world we presently inhabit is twofold. First, I want to remind you that despite our natural desire to believe we are insulated from disruptive and destructive forces at work in the world, witness the amount of time devoted to public discussions about Canada's supposed immunity to the spreading contagion of the European debt crisis, this cannot, by any logic, be true. Second, and this is a prerequisite for meaningful engagement on your part with the world, I want to underline the extent to which we make, in the sense of form problems, in the language we use to talk about them. Why is this important? Because the language or the narrative we employ in defining a problem also suggests, determines, and perhaps limits the possible options for resolving it. Given what I've said so far about the global financial crisis, it's appropriate to consider as an example of this our use of a word we've heard several times today, innovation, which is proposed to us as the key to weathering the economic storm. In almost every area of our lives, innovation is held out as a panacea. Innovation, observed the late Steve Jobs, distinguishes between a leader and a follower. One such leader, Bill Gates, has expanded on this view in language reminiscent of Winston Churchill. And here's a quote from Bill Gates. "Never before in history has innovation offered promise of so much to so many in so short a time." This is a heady claim, profoundly optimistic about the present and future prospects of human society, and unquestioning in according to innovation an innate and transhistorical value for good. The careers of both Steve Jobs and Bill Gates would appear to corroborate the claim, and with their example abroad, it's little wonder that a global consensus has emerged in support of innovation as a cure for all ills. Dissenting voices to this orthodoxy are few, and when they are heard, they're always heard on the margin. There is the fashion designer Coco Chanel, for example, who exclaimed, this would be better read with a broad French accent, but I can't do one, "Innovation? One cannot be forever innovating. I want to create classics." Chanel's point draws attention to one problem with innovation, namely that ongoing change denies human beings something that they crave: constancy and a sense of more than merely provisional value. She also triggers an important question, and it's in answering that I wish to end. Namely, are there orders of human experience and activity that should be exempt from the drive towards reinvention? The truth is that contemporary use of the word innovation is quite restrictive, notwithstanding the air of radicalism that its proponents often wish to communicate. The American educator Peter Drucker offers this accurate definition of the dominant understanding of innovation. Innovation is the specific instrument of entrepreneurship, the act that endows resources with a new capacity to create wealth. As currently espoused, therefore, innovation by and large is assumed to occur within a socio-economic framework, the fundamental elements of which it does not challenge. It is in that sense profoundly conservative, which may explain why people and nations seeking national and cultural transformation through business innovation find themselves peculiarly dissatisfied. The trickle-down and knock-on benefits of economic growth through innovation may well have salutary effects in the realm of social value, but such effects are certainly not inevitable, and as we have witnessed, they are certainly not enough. A more far-reaching and potentially transformative concept, and one oddly unfashionable these days in discussions of economic distress, is imagination. Just this last week, along with Dr. Beamish, I was heartened to attend the Woodbridge lecture here on the McMaster campus and to hear Mark Chamberlain, a very well-known local entrepreneur and proponent of innovation, arguing for an understanding of innovation that involved the full exercise of the imagination and of human empathy. Similarly encouraging was a recent publication from the Rotman School of Management at the University of Toronto that argued for a similar view. So perhaps it is indeed true that, as Daniel Pink has suggested, the scales are tipping away from what it used to take for people to get ahead, logical, linear left brain and spreadsheet type thinking, which are becoming more valuable. In that persistent focus on what it takes for people to get ahead, however, there is an indication that Pink has not quite left behind the model of what Martha Nussbaum has called education for economic growth. We should not be surprised at that. Education for economic growth, after all, has become the rallying cry of governments across the globe, and it is now a largely unchallenged assumption that increased levels of education and increased participation in higher education especially are essential to any nation's success in the highly competitive, knowledge-based global economy. What I would say about education for economic growth is what I said about innovation as presently understood. It is essentially conservative, largely because it is assumed to occur within a socio-economic model which it's not inclined to question. Jacob Bronowski, the mathematician and historian of science, has noted this, that it is important that students bring a certain ragamuffin, barefoot irreverence to their studies. They're not here to worship what is known, but to question it. Your engagement with the world will, I hope, be of this sort. I hope that you will bring to current events and challenges a corrosive and imaginative intelligence that takes nothing for granted, that is revolutionary rather than merely innovative, and that refuses to accept without question the historical narratives and socioeconomic models that are offered to us every day. I suggested at the start that you graduates are bound to the rest of us by virtue both of our shared membership in this university community and of our simultaneous presence at this point in history. We look to you to be more than spectators in life. Indeed, we are deeply invested in what you will all accomplish as you turn your minds and imaginations loose to make this world more equitable, more peaceful, more sustaining, and in that sense, richer by far. Thank you very much, and good luck, graduates.
Thank you very much, Mr. President, for an inspirational speech, and it's something that I hope all of us in this room can take to heart There are many thoughtful pieces in your address, and I hope that in the course of the next months we have a chance to explore some of them further. Thank you very much for a very thoughtful presentation. Remembering today, it's now about 10 after 5 by my watch, and at 6:30 this evening, some of you may be interested in an event that's taking place involving one part of this university, a football team. Now, I hope there's some Marauder fans here, and perhaps we'll have something to remember this day by when we reach about 9 o'clock tonight. I realize that I'm all that stands between you and some refreshments, and so I won't detain you any longer. I'd simply announce that flowers that have been delivered for graduates will be available at the coat check in the main lobby. Please remain standing at your seats until the academic procession and the graduates have left the hall. I'd ask you now to stand and join with me in the singing of our national anthem. After the singing of the anthem, this convocation stands adjourned.
We